Just got done shooting at the range today in the rain. It pretty much sucked. Yeah, I had a couple rifles, needed sighting in. Run and gun action tomorrow with a guest here in the Nutnfancy project. No big names, but he'll be a guest shooter with us. You'll see. Stay subbed. And as you've seen, I've been throwing out those shot videos as fast as I possibly can. Just cranking along. I mean, I've had a few days off from work, and so I've just been cranking them at the editing table pretty much non-stop. Writing sidebar description, annotations, all that other stuff. A lot of work. You guys know I wasn't really excited to go to SHOT. I'm not going to lie. That has not changed. It's just, there's a lot of reasons why. One is that it just shuts down the reviews. That I just can't get reviews done, and then I have to work my normal job and stuff. All that. So I'm working as hard as I can. I did go for you guys this year. Put in, I thought, was a great effort at SHOT Show, despite at times my bad attitude. I had to work on that. And I did. I improved it. And I'm actually out of SHOT 2012 in the Nutnfancy project, honestly have emerged some what I'm calling gold star videos. Videos that I think that will be touchstones for the manufacturer, for the individual. What was said is so real and so interesting to me personally as a gear guy from these industry leaders. It was truly fascinating, and we came away from that, my crew and I, and we're just like, wow, it was really cool to be able to capture that on video. That's what I live for. That's my job here in the Nutnfancy project. One of them. I have a lot. I honestly think that I want each aspect of TNP to stand on its own, whether you're talking the adventures, the reviews, the run and gun action, the backpacking. All of those are such an integral part of my channel here, but each one I want to be able to be topical in and of themselves, and that they stand the test of time, and they're a good video product that touches my friends, you guys, my subscribers around the world. So it's a lot of work getting it to there, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. And actually, I'm going to springboard off some criticisms that I read about me in some of my videos, and I'm just going to drag them out to the open, beat on them for a while, answer them, and perhaps give some perspective to guys that maybe don't understand these things. And not that I'm perfect, I make mistakes all the time in TNP, but there is a philosophy behind there. I'm going to do my best to explain it. I don't know how long this video will go, but I know it's going to be very interesting for guys who are into TNP, because I'm going to really set out my ground rules for some of my interactions with manufacturers. I may speak more on this in future videos, but this is going to be interesting, I think. And let me throw out I'm just going to summarize the criticisms. I'm kind of laughing, but I got to tell you, it's also this morning I was kind of pissed because some of the stuff I'm seeing, I was like, how does this guy not get it? Okay, and some of the criticisms went like this, like, hey, Nutnfancy, you ass. Why do you keep out-talking this guy? Let this guy just go on and don't interrupt him. Some were even more disrespectful than that, and those are the ones that really pissed me off. I don't really mind being called an ass once in a while. That's fine. We all need that, don't we? Of course we do. But what really irritated me is that those individuals, some of which I think have been following TNP, they're really not getting what's going on here. And so that's the topic of this video. And I'm going to start off with a question, and it's to those individuals. I'm going to say, what do you want out of TNP? Why do you come to a Nutnfancy video? What are you watching it for? There's lots of videos out there, lots of high-quality channels all over. There's lots of media sources, magazines, television shows covering the same stuff that nowadays I'm covering. What do you get out of a TNP video? Well, how is it different? I'm going to kind of answer that. I'm going to ask you that question at the end. Okay? Nutnfancy, you ass. Let me start off by saying booth reviews and interviews in general are extremely difficult. They are very, very tough. One of the reasons, and I'm going to hit some key points, this is the first one, is because of the pressure of time. Especially at SHOT Show, because SHOT Show is so high pressure. You saw in some of my videos that people were actually interrupting during the media interview. Rudely. They're like, hey man, I need that guy. I won't say names or anything. That's not really appropriate. But yeah, it's a lot. And so there's people perhaps waiting for that individual. Even though I've come back 3, sometimes 4 times to schedule with him. I've had an interview set, which by the way never works out very well at SHOT, because I'll tell you why when I get to limitations of host. Anyway, so it's hard because I'm trying to use my time effectively. and this person's time is valuable, so we need to get going. We don't have a lot of retakes. And even if I do a lot of retakes for the individual, I've had hosts at SHOT Show, I've done a SHOT Show for 3 years now, at SHOT Show that just were so bad. They got it wrong so bad that I felt sorry for them. I was, okay, here comes the director side of me. I'm like, okay, we need to regroup. And I give them a few director inputs of things that I'm looking for to help them so they won't get shredded in the comments. And we do another reshoot. Sometimes that process takes an hour and a half. Meanwhile, my appointment that was for 45 minutes ago, I had to call them. They're not answering. We're playing phone tag. Now I've got people stacking up. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. I've tried it. I tried it again this year. It didn't work. There's a pressure of time. You got to get it done. You don't have a lot of time for redos. And I got to tell you, and this is maybe a fault of mine in SHOT 2012, is that I really wanted to make my booth reviews shorter. A couple reasons. One, that you guys, I wanted to be more concise, to the point, getting information in. And maybe it's like a darned if you do, darned if you don't. Really, it is. Because if I don't do that, then the video may go long. And if it goes long, if it's interesting, I actually don't mind, I'll hit on that. But if it goes too short, then guys are complaining. If it goes too long, guys are complaining. What I really want is about a 15-minute booth review. And so in a couple videos, guys were starting to talk of stuff that I wasn't too sure would be interesting, and so I kind of hurried them along. Maybe it's my bad. I should have, I don't know, give them some more rope, let them go with it. But an upside to that, and you really need to understand that, is I was able to get a lot of reviews done. Most of them very high quality reviews done of the booth, the manufacturers, philosophy discussions, which I personally find very interesting. That's what I like, and it really motivates me in TNP. Yeah, so, and the host is going to get tired. You know, whoever that individual is, they're not used to the camera. You know, they're not used to doing retake after retake, and they can just shut down on me. That's happened before, and then it's done. Now it's, you know, I'm hosting the review myself, whatever. Okay, so pressures of time. There's an energy level that has to be maintained, and that'll I've already kind of touched on this, bring me to my next point, and that is the limitations of the host. Now, I don't mean this in a bad way, it's just human mechanics. It's just everyone's different. There's all kinds of personalities, and believe it or not, a lot of them, maybe not a lot in SHOT Show at this point, 2012, but some don't know about the Nutnfancy project. They don't know me. Even though I may have reviewed some of their projects and sold, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise for them in the Nutnfancy project. And you saw some in my SHOT Show videos, and some of them asked, have you seen that video? And they're like, no. Like, what? How do you not pay attention to new media? What's going on? It's cutting edge. I mean, 1989 is come and gone. This is 2012. New media is huge. As a corporation, as a manufacturer, you need to be aware of what's going on in new media. Who's talking, you know, well about your product. And, you know, so it surprises me when I roll into a booth and I'll ask them, you know, some don't even know. And that's okay, except for this point. Again, we get back to pressure of time. Now I've got to tell them, okay, this is the Nutnfancy project, this is what I do, this is an audience, you know, about 300,000 people a day tuning in. Most of them don't subscribe, by the way. Don't know if you knew that. Watching the videos. It's a big audience. It's a huge opportunity for you. This is really a chance for you to prove your credibility on camera, answer questions, do all this stuff. So now we get to the person who was chosen for the booth review, and I usually don't do that. I try to influence that. I'll roll into a booth, like in SHOT this year, I'd come in, and I've done this enough where I can pick out the personalities. People who are fun, they're engaging, they know their product. That's who I want to put on my camera. I don't want to put the guy on the camera that's the corporate spokesperson, that's all polished and stuff. I want to put perhaps the engineer that developed the product, as long as he can talk well. It's a huge bonus if he has a sense of humor. Huge bonus, because I'm off the wall. I say off the wall stuff all the time on the camera. Don't apologize for it at all. That's just the way I am. You're getting a real product, you're getting me. That's the way I approach it. So I say, hey man, give me your funniest guy, your most knowledgeable guy or girl, and let's roll. And that's about all I can say. That's all the leverage I can do. And so now they're going to pick the individual who does the booth review. And usually, honestly, in SHOT 2012, we got really lucky. We had a lot of great people doing the reviews. In past years, it wasn't that way. If I was a president of a company, let's say I'm really dry, and I talk like this, and I talk really low, and I'm very passionate about my product, but it just doesn't show. when I talk, and when the camera turns on, I'm kind of, you know, I just kind of go into my shell. That's not the person I want in front of the camera. Again, I'm trying to, if president, dude, you should pick someone else. Go watch the Leatherman review this year, 2012. That dude, Todd, knocked it out of the park. That's the kind of guy you want to hire for your company. He's passionate about the product. He's confident about the product. That guy just cracked me up, man. He out-talked to me. How do you do that? That guy is awesome. I'll talk about that out-talking, and we're going to put that in perspective. Limitations of host. What I want to, so I would talk about personality, sense of humor. If I can get that, you get those, oh man, that's going to be a good review. So what I'm doing is, I told you the booth review is tough. What I'm doing is stacking bricks. I'm trying to build a structure. So I need the foundation of this, maybe sense of humor, knowledgeable. They got to be knowledgeable, because I'm going to spring some questions on them. I don't want to make them look dumb in front of the camera, but as I want to mention, that is very, very important in the Nutnfancy project. It's what differentiates my product probably from a lot of other media, is that body of knowledge. I'll talk about that. So we stack all this stuff up. We got this guy, and then I want him to be real, or her to be real. I don't want you to go into some canned advertising nonsense in front of the Nutnfancy project. In fact, I don't allow it. I'm the gatekeeper. I'm behind that camera and I'm going 1,000 miles an hour in my mind. Is what he's saying real? Will it serve my audience? Do I personally find it interesting? That's the first litmus test. Do I find it interesting? If I find it interesting, the guy's being real, I get out of his way. He doesn't need my help. Go watch the Ronnie Barrett review. You don't see me saying a lot there. I don't have to. He is hitting on all cylinders, man. Industry leader. Everything he's saying is spot on. He's talking about the product. His products are expensive. You know, later on I'll mention that. I have to be consistent to my own integrity. But he's on all, you know, he's firing. I'll stay out of a guy's way like that. It's rare I get that. What I often get is someone who will go and they'll go down a path that I know you guys will not find interesting. Again, I'm making all these judgments behind the camera. He's going to say something. Oh, now he's going down to that. You know, I love him to death. David Chow, 4.7s. He started talking a lot about branding. And I told him off camera, hey, let's go light on the branding. My guys won't care about that. And, you know, he probably hit it harder than he should. Love his products. I love 4.7s. Love the lights. The discussion on branding went over like a lead balloon, just like I told him off camera it would. And I'm trying, in that review, trying to guide the discussion this way. Let's talk about lights. Let's go this way. Throwing in humor to lighten it up. It's a skill. It's tough. It's really tough. And I can only do so much. Well, Nutnfancy, why don't you turn off the camera and have a talk with him, start again? I don't have the time. He doesn't have the energy. You know, I did a couple takes. This is a keeper, or I'm just going to go in the wastebasket. The host is so critical for your company. So critical. Okay? He or she needs to be knowledgeable and fun. It really helps if you're aware of the Nutnfancy project, the body of philosophy that is incorporated into TNP. When I roll into the booth, you know, I'm not talking about other media. I don't know about them. I know about my product. The reason that's helpful is because if you don't, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to step in it. You're going to say something that my viewers, you guys, already know is nonsense because of the stuff we talked about on tabletop, because of the years of doing the run and guns, the philosophy discussions, firepower versus mobility, size and weight constraints, the importance of value. You can't BS the TNP audience. And again, I'm gatekeeping behind that camera. So if I feel it going down that path, boom, I'll interject. Okay? And also, the pressure of time, there's some things that are said, and I guess I need to jump ahead to this, is there is a body of work. There's another important point. A body of work, and I want to be consistent to that for my own integrity. I might approach that and really be hard over on that more than I should be, but inside my mind I'm going, okay, this guy just said something that is either awesome, it might be really, really awesome, that really dovetails nicely into that body of work. Maybe he's talking about the importance of weight. Okay, and he's chose a lighter weight nylon because he's realized the troops are carrying too much weight in Afghanistan. Awesome. Double thumbs up. I want to really encourage him on that. Okay, well, Nutnfancy, don't interrupt him. If I don't interrupt him, the moment's gone. I forget it because my mind's going 1,000 miles an hour because there's some guy, you know, bugging me, wanting his time or whatever. and it's gone. So yeah, interrupt. Throw it in there. It has to be that way, because if it doesn't, the moment's lost. I probably won't remember it to interject it. Okay, so that's just the way it is. And talking of the hosts, actually, they should know when I knock at their door, it's opportunity again. There is such a thing. It's not made up. It's true. The Nutnfancy effect. If I give something a positive review that I'm very excited about, I give it a very high likability rating, it sells, and it sells a lot. Now critics and haters and whoever may come and go, oh, that doesn't happen. It does happen. You know, I have lots of industry contacts, insider stuff from the industry. They'll call me up and say, hey, we sold so many units off your review. Thousands. It's just insane. That doesn't affect what I do, you know, and it doesn't like, oh, look at me, I'm selling all this stuff. It's just a gee whiz data point. But what I'm saying is when we roll into, when I say we, that means you and I, we roll into their booth, it behooves them to know that this is a huge opportunity. It's free. I'm not charging them. I'm not asking for any special favors. I'm like, hey, this is a gift from me to you. Usually it's to manufacturers getting something right. I'll do what I can to compensate for the host. But if you give me a drab host that's, whoa, they don't know much about the product, there's only so much I can do. And honestly, it's really bad review, because here I am trying to liven it up, I'm trying to be funny, and then I'm dancing. Then we go back to you, John. Back to you, John. Anyways, I was saying the importance of caliber conversion is really, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this review sucks so bad. What do I do though? My job as an interviewer, as any interviewer, is to be skilled in making them comfortable, number one, and being the best they can be. Making them comfortable, and then making them be the best. Whatever that is. So if, you know, if they're down at this level, they're nervous, I'll kid around with them, I'll tell them this. I was like, there's only going to be 60 people watching this video anyhow. Bring them up here to this performance level, and then maybe we can get going. And there's reviews that happen that way. Pressure of time though. I don't have the ability to do take after take. I don't have the ability, like a director doing a movie, to shut the cameras off and then do a pep talk and go, okay, you know, let's do this. I do that in a few minutes. In fact, pretty much every booth review prior to rolling the camera, there's stuff that happened off camera you guys would not believe that I'm getting up to a level to perform on camera. And then it's go time. You know, it's like, hey dude, you're in. You know, we need you to run with the ball. I need to get the best out of them. And sometimes with some, and everybody's so different, all the people are different, like, well, I'll use Ronnie Barrett for example. This is a good example. Ronnie, when I said, hey, Nutnfancy Project, he didn't know TNP. Didn't know who we were. I'm not surprised by that at all. I mean, he's a busy man, and I don't care. But then I'm at that quandary. I have to prove to him that this is worth his time. That this might be the biggest media he's ever done to date. And I'm talking about television, I'm talking about radio, I'm talking about print media, because this is internet searchable. And I know my audience. I know you guys very well. We're friends. I know how we think. I know what he's going to say could be of interest, because we're interested in these weapons, these heavy Barrett 50 cals, the light 50s I should say. But Ronnie goes, what really helped that interview is his employee was a TNPer. Didn't show you this on camera because I can't. It's just not enough time. And he goes up and he's like, hey, you know, Mr. Barrett, you need to spend time with us. This is important. So that's how I got that interview, because of the TNPer who works for Barrett. He's watching this video right now, no doubt. But then, you know, Ron Barrett goes, well, you know, I'll give you 7 minutes. I got to go to a meeting. Check this out. So now he doesn't know who I am, really. He has no idea, for all I know. And my camera gear is a joke, guys. I roll in with this little tiny camera. I've got no camera crew. I've got Doodle with a freaking flashlight. What would you think? I love that bootleg feel of TNP, though. I really do. I like coming in as the underdog. And I want them to trust me. I tell them they should feel that I'm sincere. And then when the camera starts rolling, after maybe a few ground rules, how it's going to go, then I need to connect with them on camera. And that's where the interviewing skill comes in. I have to connect with them. I have to prove, in that case, to Mr. Barrett, that I have credibility. Okay? Because if I have credibility, then he knows he's not wasting his time. And then I can acknowledge, and we get this subtle conversation going back and forth. You know, maybe at times I have to interrupt. I say I have to throw a thought in, because if I don't, the moment's lost. You can't go back. You with that concept? And out of that, magic happens when that happens. Because Mr. Barrett, as you'll see in that video, he understands he's talking to someone, kind of knows what he's talking about. And now he's comfortable to divulge technical details. Now he's comfortable that, hey, I'm talking to someone in an audience. He's probably connecting through you guys, through me. He's like, well, if that guy's that way, his audience is that way. And I told him that before we started going. I was like, my audience is very technical. There's nothing you can say that will throw them for a loop. So don't hold back, Mr. Barrett. Okay, there's the ground rules. So on we go. We connected on camera. Let him go. He's a talented speaker. Doesn't need my help. My job is to throttle back. Pull them throttles back. Stay out of the man's way. Let him talk. Very proven product. Very proven in the military. I think very highly of it, and that helps. When I think highly of their products, it's critical, because I'm enthusiastic when I arrive at the booth review. So there you go. You know, it works. And so instead of 7 minutes, he gave me, what, 35 minutes, whatever that video is. He was shocked. He's like, whoa, how long have we been talking? I was like, 35 minutes. He's like, what? After the camera shut off, he was blown away. He's like, wow, that was enjoyable. That was fun. I was like, thank you. And now you have a piece of video that will stand the test of time for history. Also, during that process is another important point. I need to protect the host. And what do I protect them from? Well, I protect them from embarrassment. I don't want the host to be embarrassed. I want them to feel comfortable with the Nutnfancy project, to know and really know that it's professionally ran. Okay, I do speak my mind. I'm very honest. I may throw some hard questions at them. They need to handle that. They need to man up. But I'm going to protect them in the process. I don't want them to look stupid. I don't want them to be embarrassed. That's not my job. My job is to be real, to be interesting, and to serve you guys. But I protect them. Did you know in past SHOT shows that I have videos I've never posted to protect the manufacturer? They were so bad, they were so boring, that as a producer, I just looked at it and I go, I'm not throwing that up there. It's ridiculous. Rock River was one of them. I did a booth review in 2010 with Rock River Arms. I'm not even going to roll in video because I don't want to embarrass the guy, but whoever did it at that time, great guy. I'm not saying he wasn't, but that camera presence wasn't there, the energy level wasn't there, and I couldn't compensate for it, and the whole review just fell flat on its face. So, you know, in 2010, guys, where's the Rock River review? Well, I did one. I just didn't post it. I did some with some knife manufacturers that were horrible. Never posted them. I'm protecting my manufacturers, because I don't think it serves any purpose if I throw that out there, because I don't think informationally it's serving any purpose, and then just as a favor to them, I don't want them to get lambasted in comments. Now, occasionally, if I work something, you know, Glock 2011, I rolled in, I asked for their host, I put a lot of energy in it, give me your best guy, you know, and you know, the guy they gave me, great guy, loved him, Mike, great dude, really nervous on camera, maybe didn't come across well, some of the answers didn't connect with us as TNPers, it kind of sounded like the party line, it kind of didn't go great. Okay, so I did my part though, I did the best I could, you know, and the guy who pulls the trigger on that decision, he makes the decision, not me. Another important point, it must be interesting. The review. Any interview, any factory tour I've done, if it's not interesting, to me personally, I'm not going to post it. I'm not going to allow them to do advertising. Hey, Nutnfancy, why don't you just let that guy talk and quit interrupting him? Why don't you go to their websites and watch their advertising? Why don't you go to their YouTube page and watch their advertising? Because I promise you I won't interrupt them there. You know, why don't you go watch any number of other media sources that will put a camera in that guy's face and let him ramble and say whatever he wants. Go to those. Watch those videos. So it's not interesting to me. That's not a video product that I personally would watch. It's canned. It's artificial. There's no skill involved. There's no philosophy back and forth. There's no increasing of knowledge. You know, and there's no answering of questions that I know you guys want asked. Did you hear that? I know there's questions you guys want asked. My job is to ask them. I'm an interviewer. I know because, you know, I see what your responses are on the videos, what ones go over big, and you really like. I know you guys are interested in those items, maybe an aspect of those items. I'll ask the questions. But it better be interesting. And I'll throw an off-the-wall humor there all the time. So what if they don't get it? Sorry. That's not to say that I'm just going to go in there and go, hey man, be insensitive to the personality I'm working with. And quite the opposite is true. I'm very sensitive to that personality. But also, I'm also me. Does that make sense? Also me. It's stupid. You know what I'm saying. Then I'm me. I'm going to make it fun. If the video is not interesting, it is a kiss of death. You can throw out everything else. It's a kiss of death because it'll never make it out of my editing booth. And I'll tell you what, if Linus always tells me this, she's like, man, if guys could just see the footage you leave on the cutting room floor. Maybe someday when I really, really retire, I'll show you that. You guys will be laughing. You'll be pissed too, because I show some things. If you saw what I put up with to do these SHOT Show videos, oh my gosh. Amazing. I'm not a patsy for the manufacturer. If you want that, go somewhere else. I'm not a patsy. I'm on really good terms with a lot of the manufacturers. A lot of them are personal friends, but I'm not their patsy. The best ones know this. Benchmade, Action Targets, Cold Steel, Rock River. Now they know. I'm not your patsy. I'm not your advertising service. A lot of them have wanted to hire me as their advertising service. They say, hey man, we'd really like to, can we use you in-house and you can produce our videos? I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I don't want to be your advertising service. I love your products, but I'm not your patsy. If you want that, there's all kinds of other YouTube channels and media sources. They'll say only good probably about the manufacturer. Oh, this is awesome. A lot of it's probably true. But you can pretty much find negative on every manufacturer. Just like on every person, you can find negative. To say otherwise is disingenuous. It's just not true. I'm the guy that's a gatekeeper. I'm the bullshit caller. So if something's bullshit, I'll say so. I'll say it on camera. I was like, dude, no, if the guy's saying, well, this is the best AR-15 in the world, and it'll outperform every other AR-15, and it, it costs $3,000 and does this, or let's say it goes the opposite end, that it's a $700 AR-15 and it'll outperform, I'll throw up the BS flag. Interrupt, excuse me. I'll raise my hand, I'll just interject. I'll say, no, that's not true. There's a lot of good AR-15 manufacturers. Those are the data points we got in TNP, boom, Rock River, boom, Bushmaster, LWRC, on and on we'll go. See, that's real, that's interesting. And now we're getting somewhere in the review. And maybe by doing that, I can take that host out of his canned, robotic interviewing cycle. I must say these talking points, I must say these talking points. No, you don't have to say those things. Get real with my audience. I'll help you do it, trust me. Let's get real together. Magic will happen if you're real with the people on the other end of this camera. Magic. Product loyalty. Enthusiasm for your brand. You don't have to be perfect. You can make mistakes. You can get details wrong. You guys don't care. But you got to be real. You got to be interesting. That's my job as an interviewer. Said it already. Body of work consistency. My personal integrity doesn't allow it. I'll just hit this real quick again. That if something, if there's something that flies in the face or dovetails into the body of work, I have to point it out. Also, competitive offerings. Hey man, ours AR-15 is really good. Well, I'll throw out some other names of their competitors right in front of them. So what? They should be able to handle it. They should be able to be mature enough. Did you hear that? Be mature enough to talk professionally about the other brands. What I don't want to hear is, that brand sucks. We hate those guys. Boy, that's a kiss of death. Don't do that. You can be competitive and you can brag all you want about your brand. I do want to hear that. And I want to hear logical reasons as to why. You guys want to hear that. JP Rifles, JP Enterprises, upper end AR-15, SHOT Show 2012. What a great video that is. John Paul knocks it out of the park. Bang! Just slamming. The crew and I would just left there and go, man, those rifles rock, Because he explains it, and he's unapologetic in his approach, his philosophy, and his pricing levels. They're outrageously priced. I don't know if outrageously is the right word, but they're expensive. $3,000. Christensen arms are the same way. They're expensive. They deliver, though. From all I can tell right now, they deliver. That's what you want to do as a manufacturer. Stand on it. You know, if I go into a manufacturer and, you know, he's nervous and he's, you know, is uptight, you know, I can only do so much to compensate for that. Why is he that way? Well, you know, maybe his back's up against the wall because he's been criticized by the entire industry. He knows what this media will mean, and it's uncomfortable for him. I can't change that. I can try to be liven it up with humor. I try, and that's about it. And we roll. We go. But every time the camera rolls, it's still a golden opportunity for that manufacturer, free of charge. Worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in, you know, media exposure. Whatever. I want to wrap it up. Told you. It's interesting, isn't it? How about over-talking? Nutnfancy, shut up so we can hear the guy. So what if I over-talk him a little bit? Do you understand where do you see where I'm coming from? My job is to be real. My job is to give an entertaining, interesting, informative, and real booth review. If I have to interrupt someone, yeah, maybe I do it a little more than I should. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes in this process, especially at shot where I'm freaking exhausted. 3 hours of sleep per night. Yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm doing a pretty good job considering what's going on. And I expect the TNPers in the project to get it and support me. Support the process, man. You know, if I see a comment goes, oh, you jackass, you doing this? I'm like, and seriously? I come out of editing for six hours. I go down to shop for you guys. I burn a whole week of work, lose money in the process. Yeah, for my real job, lots of money I lost to go down to shot. And then I go and see the comment like that. What? Go to his channel page and he's a TNPer? What? You can disagree. I ain't saying that. And you can say, hey, dude, you know, that's good. Maybe do this, do that. I'm always welcome to that. Just make it respectful, man. Be respectful of the work. And over talking, honestly, who cares? Unless it's just completely outlandish, and, you know, I'll work on it. But you remember everything I've talked about up to this point. It kind of makes the videos the way they are. Have trust. Trust in the process. Done shop for 3 years, multiple factory tours. I'm a pretty good interviewer. You know, not perfect. I'm always learning. But I understand people very well, and I can really get a lot out of the people you see on camera. If you saw them before I gave them the pep talks, you'd be, I don't know, probably even more disinterested. I don't know. That's how I feel. Trust the process, trust TNP, and again, this video is primarily intended for guys who don't get it, who haven't been watching the videos as long as you have, who don't know the body of work, who don't know the philosophy. And I'll end by saying, what do you want out of TNP? Told you I'd come back to this. What do you want? Do you want me to just roll the camera to the manufacturer and have them give their spiel and tell how awesome they are and not say a word and just end it with a smile? You're not going to get that in TNP. You need to go elsewhere. What you're going to get is a real, fun, interesting, usually, booth review or manufacturer visit. We talk about philosophy. We talk about our passion for the item. We talk about ourselves. We talk about life. To me, that's a video product that's fascinating. It's one that I'm proud to put my name on. When you see the Nutnfancy name on it, that means I approve of it. It's good enough to post. This is Nutnfancy, running TNP. Thanks.